Yo, this is the Skints and this tune is called Can't Take No More.
I'm Josh, I play guitar and sing in the Skints.
I'm Marcia, I sing and play some instruments in the Skints.
Us linking up with Prince Fatty came about because we were looking for someone to do a new record with, and our friend Itch from the King Blues said, check out this guy in Brighton, Prince Fatty, and I didn't realise, but I had a bunch of records that he worked on anyway, and I looked through the credits and I realised, oh yeah, we know his work. So yeah, we linked up with him in Brighton, had a little meeting, and within about 5 minutes of us going into the studio, we knew that was where we wanted to
we
do
left
it.
there knowing that was where we were going to do that album.
Yeah.
I reckon the kind of musical progression and change in sound in our new album from the first one, a lot of it did come from being in the studio with Fatty and learning a lot more about the music that we're trying to get totally authentic in many ways.
Well, I mean, the bands that have influenced the Skints from the beginning, early days was kind of a lot more like ska-core and punk rock world, bands like Cap Down and King Prawn that were around when we first wanted to start bands, and then we our taste sort of worked backwards from there, so everything going back to like Rancid and Specials, and then further back from there into like all the Jamaican music that we listen to now, So.
Yeah, we got really interested in almost geeky about where like this, say, music like Real Big Fish and Cap Down, stuff like that, where that music had actually come from and what it had developed from, and at its very heart and core was way back Jamaican music and a lot of the stuff that now I think we can describe our music as.
We used the platform of Pledge Music to put out the new record, which is a platform for bands and artists to fan fund a release by having a bunch of pledges that people can effectively buy in advance of the album coming out to fund it, so that there's no record label giving the band in advance to do it. Is straight from the people that are into the band already.
Yeah.
So
it meant we didn't have to release the album and immediately be in debt to someone, having maybe borrowed possibly, thousands if we'd gone with a label, to do the record. And we can kind of keep it DIY, which is what we like control-wise. I really like the last track on the album, You Better, because I sing so much more in this album, and I've really developed a love for singing because I didn't think I could do it before, and I basically just got to, Jamie sings all over the record. He doesn't even sing words, it's just him just emotionally doing his thing, and I got to just go in the studio and write all these awesome harmonies, and it was, I think for me, You Better was just the funnest one.
I think if we'd have written an album where I had favourites and some that I like less than others, it wouldn't have got to recording the album process, because we're pretty picky with ourselves when it comes to if it's not good enough, we don't want to put our names to it, sort of thing. So yeah, there's not a song that I don't like on the album. But there isn't. I wouldn't say there's one that I like better than others. So yeah. When we went to record the Katie on a Mission cover, we've always done a lot of cheeky reggae covers in our set and working them into our own songs and stuff, and the album was done, we didn't have a release date, so we thought we'd sort of throw something out there for people to have, just because it had been so long since we released anything really. And
We did really want it to go viral. We really wanted it to reach audiences that might not have heard us before or even known that they liked reggae music, but we didn't expect the amount that it did, and in such a short time.
The people that are into that, like, there's so many of them that don't like reggae because they don't know they like reggae, you know?
Yeah.
So we just sort of just put a little bit of a spin on it, and yeah, so many of like the people that are into that were like, yeah, this is cool. I think a lot of bands, once they put their record out and they become really busy, they sort of allow their actual playing to not better itself and allow themselves to become better musicians, because they're kind of sitting back on the fact that, you know, things are moving cool, and yeah, okay, if people like this, then they'll like the next one. And with us, it's all about pushing ourselves as performers and lyricists and songwriters and all these things to make sure that, you know, we don't just stagnate at a level, that we only are going to get better.
We're trying a lot harder nowadays to, when we play, for it to sound like the record, you know, for it to sound like you could be listening to a CD. And as much as we're, you know, the live sound is really good and everything like that, but, you know, our new songs, we're trying to get them to sound just how they're supposed to, and our old songs, when we play them, we're trying to more reproduce in a way that we couldn't before, the vocals on that and stuff like that. Now that Josh does a lot more harmonies and stuff like that, we take our sound boy Jim out with us, like, everywhere we go, and he gives it atmosphere.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you can.
It's just like putting on a more quality show, you know, like what we've come from in like playing with like punk rock bands. Like, people don't really, you know, some bands it's kind of their thing, but some bands are just kind of a bit lazy with it and then not really fussed like what the live show sounds like. The fact that they're playing is enough. But for us, it's like when I go out, you know, and I'm paying money to be entertained, like, I want it to sound good. So yeah, I think that's what we're trying to do for people as well, and obviously for ourselves.